All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm back. It is the year 2026, and this year is your year. This year is your year, my year, everyone's year. Damn right. You know what I'm saying? All right. So just being real, I'm not gonna lie, I have not really been watering this channel, and it's crazy because I started out actually doing quite well, being a little bit consistent in 2025 and being able to come to the office, film, edit. But this year we're doing something different, and I just feel like it's a good opportunity to do it because one, I'm working in a full time role. Two, I've got a little bit more stability from that and a bit more clarity on some of the things I've been doing. I think it's kind of mad that I've picked up, dropped, started, change direction with a lot of the things that I've been doing as a passion. But sometimes that can get really hard to manage when you're trying to balance life. Outside of obviously, trying to do YouTube and trying to build this up. I'm a parent, I work full time. Obviously, you got to be there for family, etc. So just normal things, dealing with responsibilities and being able to try and keep up and juggle with all the different plates that you have. But this year, I decided that I'm just gonna do things differently. I feel like for a long time, I've maybe had limited beliefs in certain areas, how to show 'em up and be your authentic self on the internet, how to manage some of the passions you have versus being able to earn and have a career. That sometimes can just ultimately make you unproductive in all of the areas that you actually want to. Too much thinking, too much writing, too much planning is not always the answer. Sometimes you just need to just get out there and do it. So at the top of the year, I decided I'm going to book a bunch of trips and I'm going to commit to pushing myself in doing a brand that I've been wanting to do, pushing Living Legends and being able to start up on the socials, blogging slash vlogging on the internet and just showing up as my authentic self. And that doesn't necessarily mean there is any specific way, any perfect way to do that. You're always going to find trials, tribulations, ups, downs, slow periods. And I'm just accepting it. I'm accepting and I'm just learning to lean a little bit more into the growing pains of doing all of the things that you've never done before. Like it's just quite natural. So this episode actually isn't really about anything in particular, but some of the places I'm really keen to travel to. Next week we're going to Jamaica and excited because I haven't been there in almost 8 years. It's been quite a long time that I haven't been able to see my family over there. I haven't been able to just be in the culture that I'm used to and I'm from. And I'm looking forward to, yeah, just getting out there and pushing myself to be able to get to the next step of creating and having clarity on the brand that I'm developing, what the next steps looks like. So yeah, it's quite exciting because I'm just in a new place of feeling refreshed. I feel like that transition into the new year has helped me to be able to have the motivation to do what I need to do and just having a bit more accountability on some of the things that I wasn't able to do and why that is. And instead of over planning and over stressing and just enjoying the process, I feel like for a long time I've always tried to over plan what might happen in the future and manage those expectations and manage all the last minute spontaneous crazy moments that just kind of derail you. And one thing I learned, especially in 2025, being that every year up until 2024, I've always had up and downs in production. Jobs are very volatile, it could be busy, it could be slow, etc. But 2024, I had a project that didn't really go so well, and I tried my best to recover from it and wasn't able to. I wasn't able to continue the business that I'd been developing for 12 plus years. So unfortunately, I decided to put it down and move forward. Um, Doing that, I had to work a part-time job. And in that part-time job, it was not something that's beneath me, but something that I just it required a different part of motivation to me. It required a part of discipline to go to the job, to get it done. which was Amazon delivery, just to, put it out there. Like Amazon delivery, crazy job to be working because you got a 9-hour window to deliver and you're doing 200 stops in the day, delivering 350 parcels all by yourself in one van, winter, summer, all weather conditions is crazy, and different types of terrains. You've got places that are like flats, you've got houses, you've got streets you've never been to. The algorithm can just put you into different places depending on where it puts you. So for me, trying to keep a routine in that sense was very difficult, and I just felt like I had to put my dreams on pause, but I didn't. I tried to come to the office and I tried to blog and vlog, speaking to the camera as consistent as possible, working out. I really built up a consistent routine in just staying on, like just being on go, just no slacking, making sure I get things done. Because although I wasn't working a job I actually wanted to do, I stayed consistent doing the things that I knew were hard. It was easy for me to go home and go to sleep and just prep for work. But I felt like I had to overcome these things in myself in order for me to grow. And eventually, how I even got out of that situation was just through blind faith and the idea of keeping on. And that was something that will always stick with me now. Having blind faith that no matter where you're at and what you're doing, stay consistent. It doesn't matter about views, comments, how many people support you. There's a saying, I don't have the exact saying, but it pretty much goes like this: whether you get a compliment or whether you get criticized, it's being able to take both of those pieces of feedback and be neutral about it, accepting it for what it is. So being able to accept good compliments for what they are and not taking them too deeply. And also, if you get criticized on something, being able to accept the criticism, being able to reflect and take that and pass off both things equally without taking them on. Because the problem is that as we go through life, sometimes we get encouraged to do certain things and you might actually get attached to that encouragement. So when you don't get the encouragement, you feel like you're failing, you're not doing your best, maybe you don't feel appreciated, so you might naturally just stop doing that thing because you think that you want to crave that attention. A same thing applies to criticism, and sometimes we can harbor and hold on to negative comments, moments, conversations more deeply than they were ever meant to affect us. And something I learned in that year is, one, just to be neutral, just flow with things and just to make them happen without overwhelming yourself, without feeling one way or another. Just be neutral. How I got outside of that situation: blind faith. It was through a random project. I had been in discussion with a production company and wanted to try and work with them. And I took on a commercial and production managed for them. Through that 2 week window, they saw me working and they had a full time role. Throughout that 2 week window, I was speaking to Gary V's videographer or former videographer, D Rock, who's an amazing guy. Like, also big up to D Rock for even just jumping on a call with me, answering some questions, and also asking me what I'm passionate about. And I just felt like in that window, I don't know what was in the air, but yeah, I got offered a full time job. Um, I've been with them for 6 months now, and it's been, a very interesting time trying to manage everything. But in that time, I've produced a commercial for Instagram slash Meta. That was amazing. That was the first job I done with them, or second job because I done a job with them with Loop. The third thing, Costa, Reuters, a bunch of different projects, Monzo, HSBC, and I've really been able to hone in on my production skills. But I always remember the days when I've been working, part-time jobs and just thinking about when am I going to get out of it and on to the next thing. And now I'm in this thing. I'm like, okay, so when's the next opportunity, or when am I? And it's like, let me just pause and stop and just learn to appreciate everything that is going on, because sometimes it's so easy to get focused on the next thing that you miss out on the enjoyment in the thing you're doing. And then years later you have nostalgia and talk about all the things that you used to do and be like, oh, remember this thing. It's so easy to get a dopamine hit from nostalgia. What I'm trying to do now is change the way my brain thinks, change those limited beliefs, change old concepts of this is the way to do it, because I feel like maybe I'm slightly neurodivergent. or whatever it is, but my brain and the way I think and have to organize things in order to get them done, it can be very linear, sporadic at times, but it feels like I have to do this, to do this, to do this, to do this. And one thing I've realized in this life 100% is there are no rules, there are no specific ways. Anyone who has gotten to a certain place has done it their way, but that doesn't mean and guarantee that's the only way to do it. Like there are multiple ways to do it. And sometimes it can feel like you have to do it in this order in order to achieve it. You know, maybe I have to do social media before I do my YouTube. Maybe I have to be of a big rich famous person before I go back and document everything. But who's to say that you doing it your way isn't going to get you to that way anyway? Often I've found that most of the things that I don't stress about, I end up achieving. Most of the people I don't stress about meeting, I end up meeting them in some random way and we get along. Most of the projects I've done have come through anomalies that just doing one small thing outside of what you're used to doing can take you further than if you was to stay committed to doing one set thing for a long period of time. But that's one thing 100% I am definitely trying to do this year, which is blogging and just being consistent with documenting this journey. And that's what makes me excited for this year. This year I feel like there's prosperity in the air. I feel refreshed. I feel the blessings. I feel stressed at the same time. I feel, there's multiple things I'm thinking about and how to navigate and how to balance and juggle multiple things, how to be a better father, how to be a better partner, how to be a better man and spiritually as well, just have a greater relationship with God. But at the same time, I'm a lot more mature to understand that I need to enjoy the experience if I'm going to do it. You're only going to do something for a long period of time if you just learn to enjoy it. So I say all of this to just say this year, give yourself that grace to be able to just do things as they come. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Grow through the pains, grow through the situations. Know that better days will come. Things might not be that great right now. And trust me, I've been there in them dark days, and sometimes hard to hear positivity. It's hard to hear things that make you want to feel good, and it's easy to linger in some of those darker days. But I think understanding that hope can really take you further than pessimism will ever, will just change everything. And that shift of mindset has really helped me. So yeah, I hope that it helps you. I hope that 2026, this is your year. I'm looking forward to really diving into doing, content more consistently and challenging myself to, talk to you guys much more often, stay consistent, develop a little community and just enjoy the process. So I'm gonna keep going, and that's it. Peace out for today. You're gonna see me in Jamaica next, and after that, we're gonna be heading to the next destination. Let's see how this year goes. Peace.